Today we're going to be talking about how to move on from a toxic relationship or a toxic friendship. Let's get into it. First things first, don't look back. I guarantee you that as soon as you decide to leave a toxic friendship or a toxic relationship, your heart is going to try to convince you to go right back. No, don't listen. I know a lot of people right now like to say acknowledge your feelings and things like that. But if I'm honest, if I'm being 100% in the beginning, once you leave that toxic relationship, your heart is going to tell you some things that are false. You should not go into a relationship knowing that you're going to get the same results as you did before. If you have experienced things like gaslighting, manipulation, being lied to all the time, and you know that that person has a hold on you, don't acknowledge all of your feelings, because I'm telling you, it's going to lead you in the wrong direction. Literally write down, document what the heck happened, because chances are that if they're really good at what they do, I mean, it is a toxic relationship for a reason. If they're good, they're going to try to convince you to come right back. You need to be able to go back to something that tells you exactly what happened, so then you could remind yourself and be like, no, not this time. Reflect on what happened. Assess yourself. Try to figure out, what was your weaknesses in the relationship? What didn't you like about it? Where do you want to be in your next relationship? Or where do you want to grow to right now in your life? Journal, keep record of those things. It's always nice to be able to go back to those and see how far you have come along. Like, I love going back through my old journals. Maybe you have some inner work that you need to do. Maybe you need to set up some boundaries. I know that I had to, and if it wasn't for journaling, I wouldn't have even realized that at all. So yes, keep a record, journal everything, have that dialogue with yourself. Have that record of knowing, where was my mindset back then? Where am I at now? What do I need to work on? What boundaries do I need to set up for in the future? What am I getting triggered by? This is the time that you need to be kind to yourself. Practice self-care. Self-care can look like maybe taking you a nice bubble bath with some sea scrub that you like that smells really good, or maybe it's just staying in the bed today in your pajamas and chilling because mentally you just can't handle it today, and that's okay. Whatever it is, make sure that you're practicing self-care, putting yourself first, loving yourself. Because I tell you, practicing self-care now while you're in the process of healing is going to make a huge difference in your next relationship. Why? Because you're not going to have any voids. You're not going to be looking for somebody to fill like a loneliness or anything like that. You're going to be fine by yourself because you love yourself. You care for yourself. Ultimately, we all have to learn how to love ourselves first so that we can love somebody else without having it jeopardize us. Meditating on the word, reading the word for yourself, just having that time to pray to God about where you're at, how you're really feeling. I have found that just letting it out through prayer helps tremendously on releasing those feelings, as well as learning how to forgive and let go. For me, if I'm quite honest, it was easy for me to forgive other people. The hard part was forgiving myself, because I was like, you should have known better. You should have seen that. So if you're like me, spending that time in prayer, just being honest about where you're at, how you're feeling, and also it gives you that opportunity to say, despite of, God, you're so good. And it allows you to kind of get your mind off of all of the whole toxic relationship, what happened stuff. So yes, in the morning or whatever works for you, have your quiet time, meditate on the word, read the Bible, pray, journal during that time, put on some nice calming music, and just allow that to be your moment. Trust me, it makes a difference, especially when you can just learn how to release those feelings, give them a voice, even if you're writing them down, talking out loud, praying out loud, it helps to just get it out so it's not all bottled up. That will help you process and move forward. Sis, delete it, block it, whatever you need to do, move it out the way. I know for me, I had to block some people on Facebook. I had to delete some things. I had to delete some numbers. I had to delete some pictures. I had got to a point where they were driving me so crazy. I was screenshotting because I'm like, I know for a fact that I said this, so let me keep record of it. It was a whole situation. I had to delete that stuff and move on. It does take time to get to that point where you're serious about it and you're no longer, trying to think about or meditate on what you used to do with that person and whatnot. But once you get to that point where you're you know what, I'm really trying to move past this, delete it, block it, move on. Just no contact. I'm telling you, going no contact makes a difference. In the beginning, you'll feel what the heck? How is this even going to work? How am I going to move on? How am I going to, do life without that person? How is this going to work? You're going to have your doubts. You're going to have your emotions about it. But at the end of the day, once you do it, you'll see how strong you are, sis. You can actually do it. For those really low moments that you want to do something stupid, go back, text them, reach out, if you're feeling guilty, you need to apologize for something, 9 times out of 10 you don't, but your heart's going to try to tell you that you should reach out, do something. You need that person that's going to be no, remember, you need that person that's going to, tell the truth. I, for one, love talking to my husband. He was my soundboard. If I started thinking crazy, let me run this by you. You need to find that community, that person. It makes a huge difference. It stops you from making dumb mistakes that are going to affect your life. I'm telling you, you're going to get triggered. You're going to want to go back. And all of this stuff, yes, it's going to have an effect on you. So you need that person that's going to be by your side for those low moments and be able to help you get back up. I don't have time. I want to move on today, yesterday. But in reality, it takes time. Give yourself time. Don't go and jump back in a relationship. Don't go club hopping feeling that you can numb all the pain. Nope. Give yourself time. Spend time with yourself. Get to love yourself. Renew your mind. Get rid of some of those beliefs, some of those words that were spoken to you. Give yourself time. Be by yourself for a little bit. Work on yourself. And then you'll find yourself moving on, not caring, not Facebook stalking them, not wondering about them, not trying to figure out, what is life without them. You'll find out that you've moved on. So give yourself time. Well, I hope this video helped you. Until next time, happy healing.